performance there by J-King.
J-King, full plot armor.
J-King is pushing himself into the ranks of the legend.
J-King is our world champion! J-King 7! What? The back-to-back Kards world champion!
Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today, as you can probably see from the title and what's currently on screen, this is going to be a bit of a general updates video, talking about some of the updates in my life, as well as some of the updates to the game, how that's relevant to you, and just some things moving forward. So we're going to get to all of these topics one by one down the list and take a look at the relevant Kards articles talking about the changes and getting into the details, because there's a lot of people talking about these changes, and I see a lot of people getting things wrong based on like what's been published already. Like they just read the articles wrong. There's a lot of misinformation going on, a lot of people just interpreting things in very weird fashions. So I'm going to give my opinion on all of that, and then we're going to get into specifically some of the more esports related stuff. But first, just a general update. So I said I was going to do videos giving my thoughts on all the new cards and the rotation, and then I got COVID. So I've had COVID for the last like 11, 12 days, and that's pushed back a lot of schoolwork, so I'm very, very busy. I catch a flight to Iceland in 2 days as of recording this. So I've been very, very busy, very, very sick. You can probably hear it in my throat, and I'm sure I will be cutting out a bunch of coughing. So that is why I have not done any of those videos, and by this point, just reality, I'm not going to have time to release videos giving my thoughts on the new cards before the new cards are out, because the new cards come out tomorrow, like in 24 hours. So if you guys are interested, I can still do a video later, probably in December, giving my thoughts on the new cards, although it will be influenced by the fact that they are already out and people will have had an opportunity to play with them. But if you're still interested in hearing my thoughts on them, I can definitely still do that. But just, you know, COVID, it happens. But first on the list, let's talk about the crate and battle pass, because this is what has got the community in a buzz. This is the thing that is most relevant to most people. So let's pull up the article for that. All right, so first let's look at the new and improved crate. So if you don't know, the crate is when you open packs and you get duplicate cards. Any duplicate cards you get go into your crate progress, and the crate is a percentage that goes up to 100, and once you reach 100, you can open the crate and it gives you a bunch of stuff. Basically, it's a way of rewarding you for getting duplicates over time. The problem is, because there's so much duplicate protection, newer players basically never get to open the crate until you have almost an entirely full collection, which means all of those initial duplicates you get really just give you nothing. After like months and months of grinding, your crate's going to be at like 20%. It's a pretty feels bad thing, so they wanted to change it. They've said that they were going to change it for a while, and this is the change. So the key features of the new crate, it is a tiered crate rewards, and you open your crate every week. So that's the big thing they wanted to do, is make sure you open your crate more frequently, rather than, you know, currently you open your crate like maybe like once every like few months if you have a full collection, which is insane. Now you're opening your crate every week no matter what, and the more you play in that week, the higher rewards you are going to get from that crate. So a few things to note: once the week resets, any new progress you will get will start going towards the next week's crate, even if you haven't opened the previous week's crate yet. However, you can only have like 2 crates at a time going, like the current one that you are getting XP for and the last one you need to open. You can't just like store all of your crates. If you don't open it after a week, you will lose it. So, you know, open your crate. But I feel like that's a pretty obvious thing. Here are the tiers. The tier 1 crate this is what you start with. Like, if you literally just like open the game every week, you will get a tier 1 crate. That's how it sounds like, at least. And tier 1 is 1 standard wildcard and 30 gold. Not that great. The tier 2 is 2 standard wildcards, 2 random standard gold cards, and 80 gold. So this is pretty good. Tier 3, 1 limited wildcard, 2 standard wildcards, 2 random limited gold cards, and 150 gold is pretty good. Then tier 4 is 1 special wildcard, 1 limited wildcard, 1 random gold special, 2 random limited gold cards, and 250 gold. And I'm assuming all of these gold cards are duplicate protection. A random like special and 2 random limiteds that you don't have, and they're gold, plus the special wildcard and the limited wildcard, and 250 gold. So tier 4, really, really good. And then tier 5 is an elite wildcard, a special wildcard, a limited wildcard, 2 random special gold cards, and 350 gold. So it's an elite, 3 specials, and more than an officer's pack every week. That's insane. Now, obviously, the big question is, are you going to be able to open tier 5 every single week? Because presumably, no. Presumably, like, tier 5 is going to be like, you know, you play like 10 hours a day. or you throw a bunch of money at the game. So things that increase crate tier is gaining a national level. So this is important. It is not gaining national XP. It is leveling up your nation, which means if you're at 350, tough luck. Sucks to be you, I guess. Opening card packs. So presumably, officer packs give more trait progress than regular packs. And then you have recycling cards that you own that are in the reserve pool. So you're now able to recycle any cards that are not currently in standard rotation, as well as gaining all duplicates. So I'm assuming these two, again, you will gain crate progress based on the rarity of those cards. That is the 4 things that advance crate. So it's opening packs, it's getting duplicates, it's recycling reserve cards, and it's gaining national XP. How good is that? So one thing to consider is the fact that you are getting gold from this. So for example, with tier 5, you get 350 gold, which is more than enough to buy an officer's pack. So you can already like subtract like whatever the crate progress from one officer pack is from like what is required to reach tier 5, because if you already have enough gold to buy an officer pack, you can buy an officer pack, get tier 5, and then you will be replaced and then some on the gold. Now, obviously, a single officer's pack is not going to get you tier 5. We don't have the exact numbers, so we are going to have to see. But if you start at 1, I'm assuming if you like play every week, you're going to get 3. I would be shocked if you were able to infinitely get tier 5 just by having resources. And then there's another important thing that they have down here. It says, note, as we introduce the new crate mechanic, players will no longer get wild cards for opening a specific number of card packs, as players now get points into the new crate system simply through opening packs. So before, every time you opened a pack, you would gain progress towards a system that just gives you free wildcards. That was a way to get wildcards over time. So they've replaced that. I don't think that's a huge deal, considering that these crates you open on a weekly basis, and they give you a ton of wildcards. But then the other thing that is very big is the gold from first win of the day is included in crate rewards. However, we are keeping the first win of the day active until March while players acclimatize to the new system. So this is very interesting, and this is a key sticking point for a lot of people. What does this mean? The gold from the first win of the day is included in crate rewards. So the crate goes over the course of a week, and the reward for first win of the day is 20 gold, so in a week you are going to be getting 140 gold from first win of the day if you play every single day. If we go up and look at here, if you can reach tier 3 by just playing every day, you get 150 gold, which I'm assuming is the replacement for the first win of the day. So this makes me think if you just, like, you know, log in and play a bit every day, you'll reach tier 3. But that's really interesting, though, because you have to level up nations, which, even if you're at the lower nations, that's not a single game. Like, this isn't, it's not just go and log in and play a single game to get tier 3. You are going to have to complete your missions, you're going to have to level up a bit. So it's, you know, like play 5 games a day. So this does feel like not a net loss. A lot of people are like freaking out about this. I imagine it's going to be very easy to get tier 3. Knowing that, you do have to now factor that out of the gold you get from this. The rewards, essentially then, if you're getting tier 3 each week, the actual reward is 10 gold, 2 random limited gold cards, 2 standard wild cards, and a limited wild card, which, like, you know, it's still good. That's still fun, and you get to open a crate, you get to see what your gold cards are. That's going to be fun and flashy, and it's something you do every week. And, you know, maybe if you play a lot, you get tier 4. However, it is different, and another thing that's really important here is I think it's going to be worth for players of all rarities to just essentially save their packs. Like, if you get packs from playing draft, you get packs end of season, you have gold that you want to spend on packs, it's going to be best to save those packs until you can open enough at once in 1 week to reach tier 5. So if you reach tier 3 just by playing, it's better to reach tier 3, tier 3, tier 3, and then at the end of the month you open all of your packs and reach tier 5 for 1 week, because that's what gets you up to the elite wildcard spot that you don't get on any other tier, and that's going to be better for you than just spending all of the gold as you get it and, you know, like, do tier 3, tier 4, tier 4, tier 3 kind of situation, since you no longer get elite wildcards from opening packs. So it does mean you have to be a bit more strategic, so you should try to save your packs over time to reach tier 5. Like, you know, wait until, like, the end of the week, see how much XP you get normally, and then open all of your packs until you reach tier 5 and then stop opening packs. So that's going to be interesting. I don't think it's super great to encourage players to not open packs. However, they should be tided over by getting to open the crate and see what gold cards they get. I think the choice to put gold cards in here rather than just exclusively wild cards is really, really good. There's thousands of players with full collections where wild cards literally do not matter. Like, once again, we don't have a way to spend wild cards, not gonna open up the whole gold card debate, but like seriously, you know, to let us spend wild cards on something. So all around, I think the crate change is a positive. I've seen some people talking about how like, oh, we're losing out on resources and like the 1939 continues to take stuff away from us. This is just a net positive. You're getting more stuff than you used to. You get stuff more frequently than you used to. Just because it changes the way you get stuff doesn't mean it's worse. There's a couple things they could have handled this better, I think. Like they could have given us exact numbers to figure out like exactly how easy it is going to be to get each tier, because it's really hard to evaluate this currently, not knowing like how easy it is to get to tier 3. Like, will you get to tier 3 by just playing like 5 games a day? And if so, how much harder is it then to get from tier 3 to tier 5? And then lastly, the existing crates. So everyone's going to have a random crate percentage, and you are going to get rewards based on how full your crate is. So like if you have 35% of a crate, you will get the equivalent of 35% of the crate rewards. They have not said at all how that is going to be split up. If there's any like breakpoints. I think, again, they should have really said this, just because if you're at 42% and at 43% you get an extra elite wildcard, you're gonna buy a pack. I wish they had just given us more information about this, but as a whole, great system change. Really, really good. I think this is good for everybody. I think if you're like a whale, you're full collection, you're brand new to the game, whatever it is, I think you should be a net happy with this change. I think this is good moving forward. I think this is a positive change, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about this. I haven't seen anybody really offer a valid complaint that makes sense. Like, some people have been saying that this loses you resources. It doesn't. Some people say that this is like a cash grab. It's not. It's free. But it's hard to talk about the crate system without now talking about the Battle Pass, which was announced yesterday. So now let's take a look at that. I said this was announced yesterday, barely 3 days ago. That shows you how I understand the passage of time. So the Battle Pass is going to be coming out alongside the new crate system with the new expansion. So what is in the Battle Pass? So the Battle Pass is a monthly pass that lasts from the first day of a month to the last day of the month. So it's going to follow the season. And if you have the Battle Pass, you will gain a 30% XP boost to your national progression. And that's just a flat boost. You can combine that with the medkits. So if you have that with the medkit, you get a 130% boost. So you can just like breeze through your nation progression. It's going to make getting up to the higher numbers really easy. And again, nation progression advances your crate. So this is going to make advancing nations easier in fewer games, which means you're going to be able to level up faster in a week, which means you're going to be able to get to higher tier numbers for your crate in a week. It also gives you an extra mission every day for more fun and an opportunity to earn more gold every day. So this is basically doubling your gold output. So at this point, with the 10 gold for 3 wins gone and the first win of the day put into the crate, this means that you're getting 50 gold a day, plus the crate at the end of the week. With the Battle Pass, you're getting 100 gold a day, plus the crate at the end of the week, and with the XP boost, you're going to be opening the crate more, so you're going to be getting more gold out of the crate, which is well more than making up for the not having first win of the day. And again, the first win of the day is going to be active until March. You also get a free extra daily card in the shop. So every day they have the free standard card. You have the Battle Pass, you get 2 free, I'm assuming standard, it doesn't say what the rarity is, but it means you get 2 cards, or if you already have them, that's again extra crate progress. And then we get to the big one at the end of every week that you have the Battle Pass. So the 4 crates you open with the Battle Pass, you will automatically go at a tier higher. So that means you only have to reach tier 4. And it says if not already at max tier. That's, I hope in the future they add a bonus if you reach the max tier and have the Battle Pass, because currently that's kind of silly. But what this means is you only have to reach tier 4 and you'll get tier 5. And if tier 3 is the baseline, like if tier 3 is what you get for playing without the Battle Pass just normally over the course of a week, and the Battle Pass gives you so many extra things, it's going to be giving you the extra missions to buy packs, it's going to be giving you the extra XP to level up your nations, it's giving you the extra cards for duplicate progression, and you only have to reach tier 4 for the tier 5. It sounds like with the Battle Pass, you are going to be very, very consistently able to open a tier 5 crate every single week, which is huge. Like, that is massive. So if we take a look back at what the tier 5 reward is, that means with the Battle Pass, assuming that you can reach tier 4 every week, that means with the Battle Pass, you're going to be getting 4 elite wildcards, 4 special wildcards, 4 limited wildcards, 8 special gold cards. So that's 12 specials, 4 elites, and 1,400 gold for the Battle Pass. So that's pretty good. Plus, you're going to be getting brand new alternate art that is going to be exclusive for at least a year to the pass. You're going to get an exclusive board item that is exclusive for at least a year to the pass. You're going to be getting exclusive emotes, and you are going to be getting an exclusive card back, and this is going to be for 12 USD. So this is every month for 12 USD. You can get this. So it's going to be getting you the alternate art, card backs, the emotes, the board items, plus it's going to let you get the tier 5 crate basically every single week, which is going to be, again, the 4 elites, the 8 or the 12 specials, and the 1400 gold. This is by far and away the most efficient way to get items in the game for money. Like, it's not even close. If you want to spend money on cards, get the battle pass. And obviously, like, play in the week to get your tier 5 crates. You can't just buy the battle pass and then not play the game for a month. But if you want to spend money on the game, I assume you want to play the game. So it might sound like I'm shilling for cards right now. If you don't want to spend money on the game, you don't have to get the battle pass, and that's it. Just end of sentence. You could still get like your tier 3 crate. It's like what you had before, but with slightly more wild cards. And then you can save up for your tier 5 crate every once in a while to get your elite wild cards. I see so many people complaining about the battle pass, being like, oh, cards is like pay to win now, and like, oh, they're stomping on free-to-play players, and like, oh, this is so awful, or people being like, this price point is way too high, I would never buy this. And it's like, if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. If you want to buy it, I genuinely think it's the most efficient way to collect resources in the game while also getting cosmetics at the same time. And it doesn't change the rest of the game. You can still play the game for free. Other people having the opportunity to get stuff that you can get, and they can get it faster by paying money. That's just how the game has always worked. So yeah, I don't understand why people are complaining about this at all. The battle pass is a net positive. Again, there's some things that they could change about it, such as the fact that if you're at tier 5 and you have the battle pass, you don't get any extra rewards. Also, again, the crate going off of nation XP, the battle pass giving you XP boosts, all of this really, really works, assuming that there is not a cap of nation XP that a lot of players have reached. Now, you could fix this by, you know, one, just expanding the nation level to 500, and people are going to reach 500 in every nation, like, relatively quickly after you release that. So it's only a bit of a stopgap measure. Or you could just do what Hearthstone does, and have an infinitely repeating level after 350, just, like, make 351, like, you slowly gain the XP, you reach 351, you get, like, 50 gold or whatever for reaching it, and then you reset to 350, and then you just do that. So that way you get a bonus from having the XP boost, you advance your crate by leveling nations, and then you get a reward for playing a nation that you have maxed out. Because currently, the game very, very hard punishes you if you reach 350 in a nation. Like, you reach 350 in a nation, and you just have to stop playing that nation, because you will just, like, get a fraction of the rewards after that point. And this is a big issue they need to fix. So all around, I think the Battle Pass doesn't offer a lot to people with full collections for its price point, but I think that's something that they can improve in the future. I imagine it would be good if they had, like, you know, buy a year's worth of Battle Pass for a reduced cost rather than buying it individually each month. I imagine they might do that in the future once they've, like, worked out all the tweaks exactly how they want to work the Battle Pass. So again, this is just the first iteration, the first month. As a whole, I think this is a really, really good step forward for cards, and I think if you have a full collection, if you're a whale that spends tons of money on the game, if you're a free-to-play player who's never spent a dime on this game, if you are brand new to the game and you do not know whether or not you want to spend money on it, no matter where you are on the card spectrum, this is a good change, and I think this is a change that people should genuinely be happy about, and I'm just really tired of seeing people complain about this, because again, it doesn't affect you. If you don't want to buy it, that is okay, and that is perfectly fine. All right, so that is the information that applies to everybody. Crates and battle passes, really, really cool, very exciting. Very, very awesome for the future of cards. Now, I want to briefly talk about World Championship, because that is happening this weekend. This Saturday and Sunday, I will be playing it in the top 4 in Iceland. I haven't actually mentioned that on my channel before, I don't think. But in case you didn't catch the top 6 broadcast, I am in the top 4, so I will be playing in Iceland to defend my crown and try to get the 3rd World Championship title in a row. That would be amazing to win 3 times consecutively. But, you know, being in the top 4, being able to go back to Iceland is amazing. Playing in Iceland in 2021 was one of the best experiences of my life. And I'm going to be able to share it with a ton of people because they're flying out the other 3 contestants, plus they're flying out all of the casters. So Brodo Burrito, Innocent Bubbles, Spoos, Starry, they're all going to be there. Plus I'm going to be able to meet the devs again. The 983 is going to be there. It's just going to be really, really awesome. And you should definitely check out the streams on Saturday and Sunday. Or if you don't have a chance to watch it live, catch the videos on the Cards YouTube channel, because they put a ton of production value into the World Championship. Like, this is like their magnum opus of the year. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be a set. There's probably going to be interviews. It's going to be awesome. So absolutely check it out. I'm very, very excited for it. But that's not the only thing I want to talk about. As many have noticed, the World Championship is being played on December 2nd and 3rd. and the expansion drops on November 29th. Now, in the past, the expansion has come out following Worlds, where they had World Championship played, and then, like, the expansion drops literally, like, the following week. That's how they have had it in the past. That's how I assumed it was going to work this year. But this year, it's very different, because the expansion is dropping before. What is going to happen? Now, obviously, the cards aren't deleted from the game. You could just ban the new cards and play without the expansion. And if you're worried about the new cards coming out of random effects, like, we're playing in person, so they could just have an older version of the game loaded up on the LAN servers, just like create like a local network on the old version of the game and play it in the old version of the game. But that is not what we're doing. Instead, the World Championship is being played on the new patch. Now, you might be thinking, wait, but like, you guys only have like 2 days to prepare. Well, myself and the other 3 players, we got access to the cards. We got given a dedicated test server for us and a practice partner of our choice, where we got to see all the new cards, practice with all the new cards, and we've all been working with those and trying to build decks to build our 5-deck lineup for World Championship for the last like 3-4 weeks. So we've had a ton of time to practice with these decks, but again, we've been practicing with them in a closed environment with just us and a practice partner. So it's going to be very, very interesting to go to Worlds, because Worlds will be played on the new patch, and it will be the first event played on the new patch. And it's going to be very, very wild to see people's decks. Now, I'm not fully made up my mind about how I feel about this choice to do Worlds this way. So I've not talked to all of the other players in top 4, but I know at the very least Thanatron was not a fan of this change. He is not a deck builder. He is a deck pilot. He plays the decks that other people have made and figured out are good, and he tries to play them as well as he can. And that is what he did to get into the top 4. And that's what he thought the top 4 was going to be. So suddenly, like, this tournament that's been measuring how well can you play, like, the same meta decks as everybody else against everybody else into the top 4, and then suddenly it pivots to build the best decks. So it is pivoting sort of what skills it's testing. You could argue that it's World Championship. You should be able to have all skills. You're looking for the most well-rounded competitive player who can both pilot decks well and build decks well. And if they'd announced it from the beginning, like if they said, like, in September, you will be playing the top 4 on the new expansion when that comes out, that would be one thing, but like to spring it on us once we're in the top 4 is another thing. I really don't like that. I don't like changes that are seemingly happening after the tournament has begun. Because again, it's not what we signed up for. It's not what we thought was going to happen. I'm worried that there's just going to be like the person who wins Worlds is just going to run away with it because they found like one broken 2-card combo that works across all 5 nations and just like hard stomp everybody. There was an OCC after one of the first expansions came out, and there was an OCC like the following weekend, and Huey brought 3 bolster decks. Like, bolster had just been released to the game, cost 3 credits, and Huey just ran 3 decks that ran triple copies of bolster, and he like 3-0'd everybody to win the tournament. And then everyone was like, oh, bolster's insane, and then bolster got nerfed like 2 weeks later. So it would be really, really lame for Worlds to be won by just, like, a poor balance decision, and only, like, one player notices it or figures it out. So, yeah, as a whole, I think there's a possibility it cheapens the tournament. They really should have told us in advance. But there's other, like, it's interesting to see new decks. I didn't think the previous meta was stale at all. In fact, in the competitive scene, I think it was really interesting. We were seeing a number of new decks despite 0 balance changes and 0 new cards. So it's sad to see, like, that meta that was still evolving was just axed and no with like throwing you into a new thing. However, it very easily could have been like a really stale meta where everyone's just playing Jaggro and like the world is just people playing Jaggro again. So they took a risk. Also, they probably wanted to advertise the new expansion. Everybody gets to see this big, flashy, high production value tournament where everyone's playing the new cards. It encourages people to go out and buy the new cards. But again, they should have told us. And now let's get to the esports changes, because these are quite interesting. These were posted about 3 weeks ago. And about 10 months ago, they made big esports changes. They announced the OCC Ultimate and Clash system. That's what we've been working with for a while now, which was like completely revolutionizing what the OCC was, and OCC otherwise had not changed drastically since really its inception in 2020. Well, the Kards esports upcoming changes, well, let's just get into it. Moving forward, we are altering the OCC format once more to move back to the monthly format. We are retiring the OCC Ultimate for the time being, with the possibility of quarterly tournaments returning in the future or in a different form, yada, yada, yada. So basically, they're axing the Ultimate. And the Clash is going back to just the regular monthly OCC with nothing else. And the total prize pool, which was $3,000 for the Ultimate, $500 for each Clash, which, you know, is a total of $4,500, which is $1,500 a month. So that $1,500 a month prize pool is staying exactly the same, and it's now all going into the monthly tournament. So it's just the top 8 with $1,500. And this is different because the old OCCs was $1,000. So that it's basically just like the old OCCs with 50% more prize pool. And again, this is because the prize pool for the Ultimate was taken from the Opens when they stopped doing the Opens. So basically, this is just a very long, convoluted way of getting rid of the Opens and putting them back into the OCCs. And here is the prize pool distribution. 750 USD for first, 450 USD for second, 300 USD for third, and then diamonds fourth and fifth. Again, if we compare this to the old format, which was the $1,000 split to top 8, which was 500, 300, 200, this is 250 more for first, 150 more for second, and 100 more for third. This is awful. I'm going to be completely honest. We're just going to jump straight into my thoughts here. This is terrible. One of the biggest problems with the OCC in the past was the fact that the $1,000 was only paid out for top 3. This was already a very big issue. And we saw for the Opens, like, they paid out to the top 4 at the very least. But again, the Opens are less of a time commitment than the OCCs. So you have this issue, and you're introducing $500 new dollars to the prize pool. You know what you could do with 500, 300, 200 for first, second, third, and then you have $500 left? You could do like 150 for fourth or 125 for fourth, and then, you know, like $100 for fifth or $75 for fifth, whatever you want to do. And like throw the extra money back into the first 3 spots. Why does this not pay out to everybody in top 8? Why does everybody in top 8 not get money? It's actually insane. Think about what it takes to qualify to an OCC. So top 6. What does it take to get top 6? What it takes to get top 6 is hundreds of games. Like at minimum, if you are an absolutely crazy goated player, it's going to take you like at least 200 games. Although like easily it could take you 400, 500, 600 games. That is hundreds of hours. That is upwards of 100 hours over the course of a month. That is a huge time investment. That is an insane time investment, and that's not even the promise of getting top 6. You might put in hundreds of hours into the game, play hundreds of games, and then get 7th or 8th. Like, because somebody passes you at the end. You have, like, you lose 2 games in a row in the last, like, 20 minutes. It's insane that you are asking people to put in hundreds of hours for the chance to get to a tournament and then play a best of 3, and if you lose that best of 3, you get nothing? Are you kidding me? And then they have the opportunity. You know what? Like the Ultimate, that was the one good thing with the Ultimate was like if you made it into these top 8s, even if you get like knocked out in the best of 3, like you get best of 3. Like it doesn't matter if you're the best player on Earth, you're sometimes going to get best of 3. But if you made it to the top 8 for 3 months in a row, you would get a guaranteed spot in the Ultimate, and the Ultimate was a guaranteed money position. So like at least there was a guarantee of some money for your time with the Ultimate system. And now we're going back to this with the same prize pool, and we're going back to just first, second, third. We're just going straight back to first, second, third. Play 2 best of 3s. And again, they could make this best of 5. They could make the OCC, the regular monthly OCC, a 2-day event and make it all best of 5s. Or you could make it a 1-day event, make it all best of 5s, and only stream 1 quarterfinal. All the quarterfinals at once, you pick 1 to stream, it's a best of 5. The semifinals, best of 5, and then they don't show the 3rd place match. You only want to do 4 best of 5s in a day. Or only pick 1 semifinal to show. Why? Why is it best of 3s only paid out to top 3? This is insane, and it's insulting that you're asking people to put the time in for this. Like, I say this as somebody who has qualified for every single OCC top 8 but 1. I have been top 10 on ladder since I think April 2020. That's insane. That's like 3.5 years. I am the person who is like the definition of consistency in this game, and I am saying that that is insulting to my time, let alone the people who like will make top 8. Like they'll just have like 1 month where they're like, I'm gonna play cards, I'm really invested in cards competitive, I'm really feeling like whatever deck is currently meta, I'm gonna put in 100 hours over the course of this month, I'm gonna secure my spot in top 8, and then I'm gonna lose in the best of 3 and get nothing. Zero. Just give them $75. It's not hard. Like, at least that's like just some justification. We have seen so many players make it to top 8 for the first time ever, get knocked out in the first round, and then never show up to a cards tournament again. Like, how many times has that happened? Like, easily half a dozen. And that's not even talking about the qualifiers. Like, the qualifiers, if you're like making it to top 38, and then you go into the qualifiers, that's another time commitment, because you're already putting in the hundreds of games to make it to top 38, and then you have to show up early in the morning, if you're EST like me, on the previous weekend, to then play a massive tournament of all best of 3s, try to make it into top 8, and like maybe once in a blue moon, once in a year, you make it to your top 8. You finally beat your way through qualifiers. It's the happiest feeling of your life. You have finally qualified for top 8. And you now have to play the rank 1 seed in a best of 3, and if you lose, you get nothing. It's insulting. This is genuinely insane. Like, why is this the prize pool split? But that's not the only change. No. So, in addition to the return of the monthly format, we are altering the qualification for the OCC. The top 2 players on the monthly in-game leaderboard will automatically qualify for top 8 of that month. So top 6 is turning into top 2, which makes it more competitive, which means more players are going to put in hundreds of games, hundreds of hours, and not make it into the main event. Like, the people who get 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, they will have played hundreds of games, and they're being put into qualifiers with this format. The next 32 players, so this is going to be ranks 3 to 34, will battle for the remaining 6 spots in a Swiss round, so they're changing qualifiers to one big Swiss round rather than the 2 different double elimination brackets. This is just a genuinely all-around positive change. Double elimination qualifiers kind of suck, just because like sometimes you'd have a player who just like gets 3 buys straight to the final. So the Swiss round is a good change. You know what? The Swiss round's a good change. But again, you have to get 1st or 2nd to qualify for top 8, and I've gotten 1st or 2nd in every single month since May 2020, except for like 2, 3. So I'm saying that as somebody who like could presumably, if I wanted to, get top 1 or 2 almost every month. That's insane. Like, why would I want to put in hundreds of hours to get 1st or 2nd with the high possibility of getting 3rd, to then have to play a best of 3? Best of 3 to potentially get nothing. And then, again, even if you win that first best of 3, you now have to play a second best of 3, and if you lose that, you have to play a best of 5, and if you lose that, you still get nothing. So, like, it's insane that they expect people to do this. That is all of the esports changes. They're not bringing back the open. So there's a couple things you can say about this change. One is, you could argue that, well, they're trying to make OCCs more open. Rather than making it just for the top, like, rather than giving 6 of the 8 spots to the top 6 on ladder, they're trying to open it up, allow more people to play in through qualifiers. If they wanted it to be more open and a more open experience, bring back the opens. They had the Kards opens, which didn't require hundreds of hours on ladder, and you have the prize pool for that. Just bring back the opens. Like, I don't understand. Like, if the argument for this is that they want to help new players get into the competitive scene, this is not how you do it. Because to get into top 34 now is still highly competitive and will take, like, dozens of hours each month. Like, this is still a huge time investment. And then the Swiss round means that it's even more likely that, like, the Sharks who are in top 34 are going to win. Like, it's more likely. It is harder to win in a Swiss round format than it is a double elimination format if you are a worse player with a smaller collection and less experience. These changes do not help the new players, and these changes are a massive slap in the face for the consistent competitive players like myself. So who are these changes for? I don't know. I do not know. I've given my feedback, but this change genuinely infuriates me because there was no communication with the esports community. You have a community of players who have been playing in your tournaments for years. Why do you never, ever communicate with them on potential changes? Like, ask for their feedback in advance before just, like, making unilateral decisions that are awful. That brings me to the end of talking about these changes. Let's bring back the blackboard. So the last point on here is my future in cards. I've talked about this with some people in Discord. I've talked about this quite recently in my own Discord. I just typed out a message. But I wanted to make a video about this, and I very specifically wanted to make a video about this before Worlds. World Championships 2023 being played this upcoming weekend is going to be my last cards tournament, or at least my last official cards tournament in a while. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to say forever, and I can't even say for, like, a given amount of time, because maybe I'll be back in January or February, because, you know, that I get the itch to play in cards tournaments. But for the moment, after the Cards World Championship, win or lose, and that's why I wanted to make this video before, because, you know, if I lose, like, 06 and get 4th, and then come home and say, like, I'm never playing cards tournaments again, everyone's just gonna be like, oh, he's salty. So win or lose, like, even if I win and I'm the 3-time world champion, whatever, I'm going to be taking a break from cards tournaments. I'm not going to be taking a break from cards, because I like the game. It's a very fun game. I'm interested in the new meta with the new expansion cards. I'm interested in still, like, getting gold cards through the crate system. I might even buy the Battle Pass and try to get those tier 5 crates every week because of the gold cards. But for a variety of reasons, I have no interest in playing in the cards tournaments, and specifically, I mean the cards OCC. A big part of this, I'm not going to lie, is the prize pool distribution. It's insulting. Like, why? I don't even work. Like, I'm a student. So, like, I have more free time than most. And I'm also somebody who is very, very good at just, like, focusing in on Cards Ladder. Like, I'm very good at just, like, you know, sitting down and playing 6 consecutive hours of Cards Ladder at a very high level. So, like, I am, like, the person who can, like, probably best utilize these systems. And to me, that's insulting. Like, I'm a student. I have things to do. Like, also, I have a life outside of this game. Why would I ever put in that much time and energy month after month to get knocked out in a best of 3 in the first round and get 0 money? That's just not interesting to me. I think that's a terrible decision on the behalf of 1939. I think it's taking the esports competitive scene in a negative direction. I just don't want to encourage that, really. Like, I don't want to, like, give my 2 cents about it, complain about it, and then continue to play in all of their tournaments. Because they're not going to change anything if you do that. And again, I'm not saying that I'm never going to play in the tournaments. They actually, the last OCC, they didn't tell us this. I thought I was qualified for getting points for the next Ultimate, but in the last OCC, they had this prize structure, and I actually won it. So to be clear, I actually won the $750. Like, I got first place in the first ever OCC with this prize structure. So I got the biggest rewards of the current reward structure, and I'm still asking them to change it. Like, I'm the individual who most benefits from this system. I'm the individual who has the best potential to benefit from the system, and I'm the individual who has currently benefited the most from this system, and I am the one asking them to change this for the sake of everybody who plays in cards tournaments. Please change this. And if they do, if they change it, if they announce in advance of the next tournament that they're changing this, I'll probably come back right away. But this isn't the only reason I'm leaving. I'm not a huge fan of the communication with the cards competitive community. Like, for example, Worlds, they changed the format of Worlds multiple times. So originally, it was supposed to be 4 decks and a ban in group stage. That's what was announced. 4 decks and a ban in group stage. And then when group stage came around, they changed it, and they didn't even, like, announce it to everybody. They just, like, changed it in the rules section. I almost missed it. To 3 decks, no ban. Okay, whatever. And then top 4, we think we're going to be playing on this patch. And then they changed it. No, you're actually going to be playing on the new expansion. That's fun. Isn't that great? So okay, whatever. That's really annoying. But hey, it's going to be bring 5 decks with a ban, best of 7s. When we're doing best of 7s throughout the whole tournament. All of top 4 best of 7s. And then they announced not that long ago, well, actually, because of potential time constraints, it's going to be 2 bans, best of 5s. And it's like, why? Why are you making the tournaments less competitive? Why are you changing things so little in advance? It's insulting. They frankly do not respect us competitive players. They don't ask for our feedback. They do not care about how their changes affect us at all. And it's just very frustrating. It's always been like this, but it's only gotten worse. Like, Cards as a whole, if you don't play tournaments, I'm not trying to, like, rag on Cards. Cards as a whole is going in a good direction, I think. I think the crate changes is great, the Battle Pass changes is great, the expansion looks really interesting. I think Cards as a whole, with slip-ups, the gold card crafting, don't get me started, but I think as a whole, it is going in a good direction. The competitive scene is not. The competitive scene is stagnating, the competitive scene is going backwards in a lot of ways, and I just don't want to be a part of that. Like, I'm tired of being, like, the face of the competitive scene, and the competitive scene itself being, like, a flaming garbage pile. I'm recording this after the fact, and editing it in, because I totally forgot about this. But another big thing about Worlds that they changed, and a big reason why I'm just very, very done with 1939's tournaments, like, this really grinds my gears, is the seeding for the Final Four. So let me show you this real quick. All right, so here is the bracket for the World Championship. Don't mind the ads. Oh, okay. Yeah, don't mind the ads. Challenge. So this is the winner's side of top 4. So you have me and Leo. Neither of us have lost a game in the double elimination bracket. And then down here, you have Thanatron and Socialist on the loser's side. They have each lost 1 game, and these are the Final Four. So if the bracket were to continue without being reset, Leo and I would play. The winner goes on to the grand finals. This is the winner side final, so we are both guaranteed top 3. The winner would go in to the grand finals, be guaranteed first or second. The loser would come down here and play the winner of Thanatron versus Socialist, and the winner goes back. So that's how it would work if the bracket weren't reset. Now, because they want everything to be fair, going into Iceland, make it a big event, nobody comes in on loser's side. So the bracket gets reset, going into top 4. That's how it's always been. They let us know we're well in advance. That's perfectly fine. There's no benefit of getting in on the winner's side other than, like, less worried about getting knocked out, obviously, in the process of qualifying. The question is then, how do you determine who plays who in the top 4? So there's 2 ways you could go about this. In 2021, the way they did it was they just drew lots when we got there. Like, they got there and they just drew names out of a bag to determine who plays who. And, you know, that's perfectly fine. The other way to do it would be to take the seeding from, you know, the tournament. So in this case, you would have myself and Leo being seeds 1 and 2. It doesn't matter who is seed 1 or seed 2, but we're seeds 1 and 2 since we're on the winner's side. Then you have Thanatron versus Socialist. They're seeds 3 and 4. It doesn't matter who. So basically, you would have Leo versus Thanatron, myself versus Socialist, or myself versus Thanatron, Leo versus Socialist. Because Socialist came from my side of the bracket, like I played him in the first round already, you would probably have me versus Thanatron, Socialist versus Leo. So that would be the other way to do it. You know, take the seeding from the tournament, or do it randomly. So the way 1939 has decided to do it, and not just decided to do it, like they told this to us, like in closed doors to top 4, and I immediately was like, okay, don't announce this anywhere because this is terrible. What they decided to do, and I just made my own bracket here, is they decided to use the pairings from the double elimination tournament. So it's me versus Leo and Socialist versus Thanatron because that's how the bracket looked in the previous version. But the big difference is, it looked like that because Leo and I were on the winner's side. We were in the winner's final because we were the, like, 2 highest seeded players. We were the players who hadn't lost. Why are you having the 2 highest seeded players play each other in the first round? Why are you preceding it as terribly as possible? Like, why is this happening? This is just like, if you have a basic understanding of how brackets work, if you have a basic understanding of how seeding works, you should not do this. And, you know, like, okay, somebody, like, who doesn't think too much about this, they just draw it up. They're like, okay, well, we have player matches in the previous bracket, let's just bring it forward. Whatever. Okay, well, when you do that, and somebody correctly points out, well, you shouldn't do it that way because of, you know, the seeding, you're having the 2 highest seeded players play each other, just draw it randomly if you don't want to do it the other way. If you want to just not take the seeding at all, draw randomly. And you know what the response to that was? The response was, absolutely not, we're not changing it, this is how it is, deal with it. So, it's just frustrating playing competitive tournaments for people who don't know how to run tournaments. They don't understand how seeding works, they don't understand how brackets work, they don't understand how tiebreakers work, they don't understand anything about running or organizing tournaments, and it's very, very frustrating to partake in this. And I don't mean everybody there. I don't mean everybody, because, like, 983, I've had my beef with them in the past. There's some massive hiccups, but as a whole, I think they're very good. 1939 handles Worlds. 983 does not handle Worlds. I'm sure they have input to some extent, but this is entirely on 1939. This would never happen in 983. This would never happen in an OCC. This is absolutely ridiculous, and, like, this was the straw that breaks the camel's back for me. Like, this is just insane. Like, it is so fundamentally wrong. Anybody with a basic understanding of tournaments knows that this is wrong. So yeah, that is another reason on top of the other reasons. Then, like, immediately following this, like, it was in the same, like, 2-day period that I saw this, and then the Esports Changes. And yeah, that's why I just need to take a break from these tournaments, man. And I don't know if I'll be back, frankly, if things don't change. Maybe I will. Like, the money's nice. But, man, it is just so frustrating. And I hope you can all see that. I hope I explained that well enough. Again, let me know your thoughts down below. There's also a lot of things that they could do to help the actual production of the streams, because, like, frankly, I don't watch the streams anymore. Like, I used to always watch the tournaments, whether I'm playing in it or not. Like, if I get knocked out early, I always watch to the end of the tournament, just to see, like, other people play. I don't watch it anymore. And it's not the fault of the casters, and I'm not even saying it's the fault of the production team. It's just all of it as a whole. There's so many things they could do, things they could change, and there's just not a sense of innovation. There's not a sense of, like, a great motivation to make these changes. And I wrote up a big suggestion article in the Kards Discord. You can go look it up if you want to read the exact details. But among the things that they could do to improve the production quality of the stream is require face cams for players. They used to do this, and then they stopped. But I think it goes a long way to help build narratives, make people feel like they understand who a player is, that you get to see their reactions. You get to see like how the emotions are affecting them. You get to see if they're tilted from the previous game or the previous turn or whatever. Another thing is, like, if you need to fill time between rounds, don't go over the decks for the third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. Bring in players for interviews. Have pre-recorded interviews. Have pre-recorded, like, it doesn't even need to be the players in that tournament. Have pre-recorded anything. And you need to bump up chat engagement. Have polls. Twitch has integrated poll systems. Create a poll. Let them spend channel points on betting channel points on who they think is going to win the set. Make the giveaways, instead of just a pack and a draft ticket that's super boring, make the giveaways unique, communities-themed cosmetics that you can exclusively get as giveaways from card streams. And then other people will see you. Like, they'll see you have, like, the I don't know, like, the community card back, or the Twitch card back, or whatever. And say, like, oh, I want that. How do I get that? They Google, like, Kards Twitch card back. And then they see, watch Twitch streams. And then they go in, and then they watch. And then they see the chat engagement. They see the bets. They see the players with the face cams. And they think, oh, who is this? I'm going to follow this player. I'm going to bet on who I think is going to win. And then they actually stay. And they keep coming back. And everything improves. There's so many things they could do to improve the Kards esports, not just for the players playing in it, but for the people watching it. And all of that as a whole would do a lot for the health of the game. People like esports. Like, people like following games that have esports. If the esports and tournament streams and tournament VODs start blowing up, that will bring in more people to the game, because they see, oh, what is this? This is a card game tournament. This card game looks really, really cool. I'm going to download it now. I'm going to play it. It's fun. I'm going to spend money on it. It's a big circle. Like, it's in 1939's best interest to make the tournaments as good as possible, and they just don't. They don't, and I've given feedback. They don't listen. They don't communicate at all. Like, even when I like say my feedback, and they say, okay, we've seen your feedback, they don't answer it. They don't say why they won't do something. They don't say if they're thinking about things. They won't say, oh, we could do this in a different way. They don't say, oh, we're under consideration. We might, like, change. We're looking to change this in the next month, 2 months, 3 months. They don't say anything. So that got a bit ranty. But all of that combined is why don't expect me to see me playing in any future, or not any future Kards tournaments, but future Kards tournaments in the near future, other than the World Championship. Check that out. It's going to be awesome. I'd love to cast. Like, if the casting is always fun, and I think that's removed from how the tournament is organized. So if they want me to cast, I'd love to cast. If they watch this video and want to blacklist me from Kards events, sure, whatever. You know, like, I want the game to improve. I'm not trying to make enemies. I love 1939. I love Kards. I want them to improve it. That is it for me for now. Also, to be clear, this is not the end of the channel. I'm still going to do videos. Not being in tournaments is going to actually, like, give me an opportunity to do more, like, fun concept videos, more educational videos, more series, etc., etc. Although, again, I'm still in grad school, so still very busy. So I don't expect a massive number of videos coming out anytime soon. But I would love to get some more videos, but that probably won't be, the next video probably won't be for, like, you know, a week or two. Thank you very much for watching. If you've gotten through all of that, please give me your thoughts on any of the things I've spoken about down in the comments, or if you want to continue the discussion further, join my Discord, or join Kards Discord, make a post on the suggestions chat, and with that, I will catch you in the next one.